Good morning. Happy Memorial Day. We need new flags. I have new flags. It's Memorial Day. We're gonna start there. So I put this flagpole up, I think it was the end of June, 1st of July, somewhere in there last year. This is my original flag, but it's getting pretty tattered on the end here. But I leave this flag up all the time. Like, I do not take it down. It has flown every single day since we put it up for 11 months, close to 11 months. That's held up pretty well, but we got a new one there. We're gonna put it up. Much better. It's really nice. I need to spray some weeds around here, but all right, go put the old ones in the seed warehouse. We gotta find somewhere to get rid of them properly. All right, well, I'm glad we got that taken care of. So it is Memorial Day. Thank you to all of the people that have served in our armed forces throughout our country's history. I know it's Memorial Day and not Veterans Day or Armed Forces Day, but still, thank you. So we've had a pretty good weekend here. On Saturday, Dad and I, mostly Dad, sprayed the wheat with our head scab fungicide. I didn't do a whole lot, so I didn't film any of that. But we got our Miravis Ace put on all of our wheat except for one 30-acre field that wasn't quite ready yet. So that's done. I think Dad's going to try and spray soybeans today, or corn. I don't know. He's got that one last field, that 36 acres of corn that he needs to spray with corn herbicide, and then he's got some beans that need to be sprayed as well. We're also hoping that we're gonna be able to finish planting beans either today or tomorrow. So Phil is just on his way to go check the fields that we have left to plant right now, and depending on what he finds, kind of depends on what we're gonna do the rest of the day, I think. Hopefully he can go and plant. We have about 65 acres that needs to be disked yet. So either I can go do that or Dad can go do that or whatever, but we've got to get that done before Phil can plant it. And then I think we're going to try and put some Anhydrous on today. So I was going to take the gator out and go check these first couple of cornfields and make sure that they're dry enough. I'm sure that they are. The stuff's dried out a lot this weekend, the cornground, or the cornfields especially. So that's what we're going to do. Well, here's the very first field of corn that we planted. In fact, if you'll remember back to that first day, we were having fertilizer pump issues, but when I first started, I pulled into this corner right here when we started planting that way, and I got up here a little ways, and I'm like, something's not right. My population wasn't right. I couldn't figure it out. Well, we had the wrong plates loaded in the planter, in the monitor. It thought we had the bean plates, and we had corn plates. So they were spinning at about half the speed they're supposed to, and our corn's about half as spaced out as it's supposed to be. See how far apart all these plants are? And then look at the second pass out there when I had it fixed. They're much closer together. That stopped right up here somewhere where I stopped and got out and tried to figure out what was going on. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. In the wrong place. So we should have some monster ears on this first little bit of corn here. Let's see. But the question is it dry enough to side dress? The answer is yes. This ground has gotten quite firm on top. We will have no trouble whatsoever getting across here. Yeah, we stopped right here. You can see a little pile of corn there where I ran the meters just to make sure everything was working right. And then once we get up here, much closer together plant spacing. So anyway, I'm going to wait for Phil to come back before we go with the anhydrous bar in case we need to run the disc, because I've got 3 anhydrous tanks we can run off today. That should do a little over 100 acres, which would be good. But I can do that pretty easily. I've got time if I need to go disc this morning. We can do that instead. Let's take a brief look at our corn here. See how we're doing. So this was the first planted corn, so it's a little farther along than the field we looked at there on Friday. There's our first leaf, rounded tip, V1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're going to call that V3. Got a leaf collar here. We do not have one up here yet. So we're at the V3 growth stage, getting close to V4. Looks pretty good. We're finally getting some sunshine and a little bit of heat. High 60s today. Yesterday was a really nice day with the sun out and a little wind, and it's not super warm, but it is supposed to keep warming up throughout the week. There's chances of rain tomorrow night through Thursday or Friday, and then after that it looks absolutely beautiful. We start getting up into the high 70s and 80s, and stuff is going to take off on us here, which is good. We need this corn to green up and grow. Phil got back from checking some fields and says that he's going to wait until after lunch to go plant. He thinks he can do some today and then wait until after he's done planting to go disc what we need to do, just to give it an extra day here to dry. We're going to have to go around some spots. It is what it is. It's fine. But we should have today and tomorrow, and things should dry a lot today with sun and a little bit of heat. So we're going to go put some anhydrous on. All right, I just opened up our valves and pressurized everything. We had a leak at our screens. They weren't quite tight enough, so I tightened those up, and I think we're good to go on the rest of it. Let's go see how this goes. We are in this first field here and got our bar unfolded. We're gonna test everything and make sure everything's working right. We're gonna attempt to run our auto path rows to get started here. I don't know if that's gonna work. I always try it with this, and then because well, I'll explain, but my path spacing doesn't match my planter width, and that really throws off the auto path when I've done it in the past. So we'll do some testing and see here, but I got to get everything bled out, make sure we've got gas running through all the lines, and that we can get it put in the ground where it needs to be. So let's see how we do here. Let me just play around with some stuff, and then I'll come back and update you guys. Okay, we got some. So I'm doing an energized system test here. Basically, it turns it on for a few seconds, and it bleeds the bar out. It took me three times to get it to where every row had some coming out. So now we're good. Put her in the ground. We just burnt the crap out of that grass over there. It'll show up in a couple days. Well, it's going all right here, but we've got a leak right there. That distributor is cap must be loose. I don't remember taking that apart, but maybe Brock took it apart. Maybe we did. I don't remember. But they're Allen-headed screws, and I don't have an Allen wrench, so we're gonna have to go up and get one. Not getting a lot out of those, but we did snug them up a little bit. This is the last thing before they go to the rows, and it's all open from there through all that tubing, and so there's no way to really pressure test that. I mean, it's after all of the valves, so not a big deal. I'm just checking the rest of them. There's 3 of those distributors on here, three sections, making sure they're all tight. Finally got the end rows done. That wasn't leaking, and then I did a couple rounds, and now it is. And you can see we got a row over there and the one right in the middle that is leaking. Well, that's a sprayer pass. We got sprayer tracks there, so that ground's a little harder, so sometimes that happens. But for the most part, the bar's working good. We do got to get these leaks addressed, though. I keep snugging them up, and then they stop, and then they start leaking again. I wonder if we need to take those caps off and look at our O-rings, and or put some Vaseline or something on them to help them seal up a little bit better. That one's good. It's not leaking. This one's leaking a little bit. That one over there is leaking a little bit. Not the end of the world. You can see here in the next pass over where we don't have sprayer tracks, sealing up really well. We got one row over there that's puffing just a little bit. That one's in a center planter track where the tank ran, so it's a little more compacted from that. but no, mostly running really good here. Just that little leak right there. That's pretty minor. We're gonna not worry about it until we're done with this field. I got this first field done. It was just 22 acres here, or what did we end up doing? Yeah, 22.02. So we're gonna jump across the lane, go to our backfield, run this tank out, and then we'll have to go back up to the farm to get another tank, and we'll try and fix our minor leak there. I think it went all right. It says we put 175 average on, which is got to be pretty close to what we were shooting for. I'm variable rating it. This field had 2 zones, either 150 or 180. Most of it clearly in the 180 zone. Well, I didn't quite get all of my end rows done. My tank says it's running empty. I'm gonna go check the gauge on it here, and we'll see what it says. And if it's empty, we'll go change. It says it's empty. All right. We also are still working on our break-in procedures on the new track that we put on. And since I've got a nice long stretch where we're going straight, when we get up to the end here, I'm gonna put it in neutral and coast to a stop, and we'll check our alignment again, see if that spacer fits in there good. We'll feel the guide lugs and see if they're warmer on one side versus the other, and whether we need to do any tweaking. But we're getting a little bit of time on it now, maybe an hour or two. And some dirt in it, and should be breaking in well. So here's my 3/16 inch thick spacer shim. We want to make sure this fits between the lugs and the wheels. This side we're good. This side we were good when we checked it before. Let's check the outside. I wonder if we're a little tight. Yeah. I mean, it fits through the mid-rollers. It's the idlers on the end that it is tight there. Feeling the guide lugs. This side, it's not hot by any means. I can hold my hand on there all day. But the other side is cold. This side is warm. So I think we need to play with our alignment just a little bit, which is that bolt down there. I'll have to read the directions and see how it says to do that, and then we'll have to check it again and keep doing that a little bit. Well, I broke the book out to read about this again. Now I'm not so sure. Insert fabricated shim, which is that piece, between the outboard front mid-roller and drive lug C, which the drive lugs are in the middle there. Shim should fit freely all the way down to the track inner surface, which it does, no problem on those mid-rollers. Repeat the check on inboard front mid-roller, so inside and outside. No alignment adjustment is required if drive lug is not contacting front mid-roller and if shim fits freely on both sides of drive lug, even if the drive lug is not perfectly centered between the mid-rollers. Go to step 18. So ours does that. It doesn't fit between the idlers and the drive lugs, but this doesn't say anything about the idlers. This says the mid-rollers. That's different. Before I mess with it, I might talk to the dealer. I dropped our tank and I pulled up in front of the shop because I want to unfold and fix our leaks, but that there is a problem. What in the heck happened here? Appears we lost a pin or a bolt or something that holds our row unit. Yeah. There's a pin right there that holds that to that. And we lost it. If I unfold that, it will drive it straight into the concrete. So we better find a pin. Well, I didn't find a pin, but I found a bolt that works. Oh, it's that outside one. Yeah, that makes sense. I have to tighten it down, but I put it in there and at least got it unloaded. Anyway, I want to take those caps off of those distributors there and seal them up. I took one of these distributors apart here. So these are, I'm pretty sure these are called impellicones. And basically there's a little impeller that spins around in there. Can't see it very good. Trying to clean that up a little. And it distributes the anhydrous evenly amongst all of the rows. You've got the feed coming in the bottom here, the big pipe, and then all of these ports are on the outside, and you try and keep them even. So anyway, there's an O-ring that fits underneath this cap. It's getting a little flat, and that may be why we're having some issues, but we're going to put some Vaseline on there, coat it up, put it back together, tighten it up good, and hope that that seals up our problem. Got those put back together, cleaned up. We'll see if that works. Hooked up a new tank. It is lunchtime, noon, and I'm not in a hurry. We've only got 2 more tanks we can run off today. It's Memorial Day, the supplier's closed, like we're not going to get any, so no reason to really push it. I'm going to go home, make some lunch, and we'll come back and run those 2 tanks out. Back in the tractor after lunch here, and we've got our end rows done, just getting into the field. This one, the auto path might actually work. This edge lined up well enough that I can stay on it. We'll see, but that's kind of cool. I should, and maybe I will here, play around with the turn automation, see if I can't make turn automation work for Anhydrous. Never done that before. I'm sure it's possible. Everything seems to be going good. My leaks are better. It's no longer leaking. So that's good. That's not supposed to look like that. Something broke. That bolt right there broke. Crap. And we cut our hose. Vapor tube fell off, plugged that up. I saw it happen. We hit a rock back there a little ways. I didn't know it fell off right away, but I felt a jerk and oh yeah, that's a rock. So we've got to cut this bolt to get that off of there. I don't have the tools with me to cut that, so good thing the farm is right there. Now we got to take this bolt out, separate those pieces, bolt that back up there. Ah, shoot, we'll get it, no big deal. Now I'm getting this row taken apart here. Not only did we break that long bolt that goes through here, we broke the horizontal, or the other bolt that goes crossways, and that one we got to drill out. So we'll see how I can do with this extractor set here. Might be easier to come from the other side, actually. That bolt right there should be smoother on this side. Yeah. Got that piece drilled out, came out just fine. Got our other bolt cut out, so we're free from the boot here. I think I can bolt this up there without taking the boot off of this piece. Just looking at it. I could be wrong, but we're going to try. I know I've got some of those bolts in the parts bin. We'll go dig them out and try and get this put back up there. Alright, well, we've got that back on there. There's one new bolt. There's the other new bolt. It's solid. It's got some wiggle because this bolt's on a spring. It's supposed to be like that. We got our hoses reconnected. Time to put our blade back on. Ready to go again. I picked up a rider.
Hi.
Ryland's first time ever riding with us. Doing Anhydrous, right?
Yeah.
I've never let you guys ride with us before because it's dangerous. But you're going to listen to me.
I think I went with you before.
Nope, you have not. I know you have not. So, no matter what I say, that he's going to listen, and if I say to run, you're going to run, right?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm supposed to ride too.
We did not quite get this tank empty before we had that breakdown there, so we've got 1,200 pounds of N left in the tank, and we're going to go run that out. I think I got my auto turn figured out. We're still tweaking, trying to make it make good turns instead of jerky, not normal, natural turns, but it does work. Anyway, we've about got this tank run out. We're down under 450 pounds of N. The last one ran out with about 300 left. So when we get down to this point, I'm watching my pressure gauges. Right here in the middle, I got 3 pressure gauges, 1 for each section. Once those start dropping, we're empty. And the other thing I can watch is my flow, gallons per minute, or the target versus actual. If those two are not the same, then we're not getting on what we want. One other thing to note, the last field that we did, we averaged like 175. A lot of it was getting 180 pounds. Here, I have dropped my script by 10%. about 20 pounds of nitrogen. So we're putting on 162 here instead of 180. And the reason for that is we put chicken litter on these fields last summer. This field, the first one we did not get chicken litter. This one did. From my trials and research in the past, I found that we get quite a bit more carryover nitrogen than I would have initially thought, and that it will carry the corn crop through. There's a lot of organic N in that chicken litter, and it mineralizes throughout the summer, feeding this corn crop, and so we can get away with putting a little bit less nitrogen on here. So that's a big part of it, and why we're doing that. There's a couple other reasons, but yeah, we're backing off on the nitrogen just a little bit on the fields where we put chicken litter. Tank number 3, last one for today. We're probably not going to have quite enough to finish this field. We've got about 40 acres to go, and we can do just over 30 on a tank. So not going to go, we're not going to get it, but we'll get close. Good enough for Memorial Day for getting us started. We'll show off our auto track turn automation here. So we get up to the end, and it's gonna right there shut off, and that gives it some time to bleed the lines out. And then it starts to turn. We lifted the bar up. It's kind of making this, it's a very square turn. Not sure how to fix that with these tight turns, but that's okay. Gets straightened out. Puts the bar in the ground, and it's on. The little blue triangles there mean it's on. And then we're back up to speed. And it's working pretty good. Gonna get closer to being done here than I thought. I guess I got a little lower rate on this field with that 10% reduction, so we're gonna cover a few more acres on a tank, and we're gonna get really close. I don't know if we'll have enough to finish or not. It says we got 1,200 pounds left. We've got 63 of 75 acres done, so 12 acres to go. I could do the math and figure that out. I'm not going to. But yeah, all's working really well here. Everything looks pretty good. I'm happy. One other thing that I did want to talk about here. I mentioned earlier that the autopath doesn't work because we're not on an even multiple with my planter, right? And that is true. Now this is a 15 shank anhydrous applicator, 15 row. The reason that it's an odd number is because we need one right in the center. And so there's technically 3 that go between the tracks on here instead of 4 rows of corn. And then we follow right in the track, so it's kind of offset 15 inches. That way we're driving between the corn rows, not on the corn rows, right? So that makes sense. And we're applying it between the rows. But you have to have an odd number for it to be even and pull even and straight and everything. And so this is a 15 shank applicator. It's made to match a 16 row planter. The way you would do that is to put a half rate on each end row. You'd put the normal rate and then another line that puts half as much on, so that you're putting a rate and a half on those outside ones on each end, and that gives you kind of that extra row, that 16th row, to make it a full 40-foot width. Now I plant with a 24-row planter, so we are 60 feet wide, and so if I did it that way and I still put the half rate down, that would give me 40-foot passes. It would be basically 1.5 anhydrous bar passes to planter passes, which puts us on the guest row every other pass, and it would work out fine. However, I have made the decision a couple of years ago to instead of doing that and having so when you do that, and with the 15, if you stay on those even 40-foot passes, the one on the outside you basically skip a pass. That's what the extra half rate is for. So there's one row that would never have an anhydrous shank run down it, or a applicator knife, or whatever we're calling these. And so you skip that one every time, and that's what keeps you on the even stuff. I made the decision not to put the half rates on and to just go straight 15 rows and not skip that one, which makes us only 37.5 feet wide. And so that 37.5 feet doesn't even come close to meshing with a 60 feet. Now it's working here. We've been using autopath in this whole field, but usually I don't. So anyway, we'll talk about the reasons for that and why and stuff some other time, but I just wanted to point out that we're applying this as a straight 15 rows. We're 37.5 feet spacings on it for our anhydrous applicator. Well, bummer. We were a round and a half short. Just got from there to there to fill in. That's all right. No big deal. We'll get it in the morning. So we'll go get some tanks first thing in the morning. Brock's gonna be around. He can run tanks for me tomorrow. I want to finish this and then probably from there head up to the irrigated field. I've got 30 acres, 35 acres, just a mile over this way or half a mile behind me. That's probably ready to go. But I really want to get the irrigated stuff done so we can get the rain machine moved out there. So I think we're gonna move there tomorrow and do that before we get a little potential rain, and then towards the end of the week weather's going to clear off. It's going to be really nice. We're going to have a massive run here Friday to whenever, I don't know, but weather's starting to look really, really nice. It's going to be nice and warm. Things are going to go fast. Now, before we got out of the field here, I wanted to look at this track a little more. Cool on the inside, like it's not wearing at all. Outside's got just, it's warm. It's not hot by any means. I think we're in good shape. I threw some dirt in here because we're in the field and I had a chance to do so. Just keep that tackiness off of it. This should get enough in the fields from just driving in the fields, but this ground's pretty crusty on top. It's not exactly throwing a bunch of dirt around, so I think we're okay. We're gonna keep an eye on it. I forgot to wrap this one up in the field when we got back tonight, so we'll do it from the couch here, huh? You get your beaver. Ryland's beaver. What's that?
Jesus.
Is that a little Jesus? Yeah.
It's a toy Jesus.
It's a toy Jesus? Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching this one. We did run those 3 tanks out. Got a little bit left to do in that field. No big deal. We'll get that in the morning. We'll have Brock get us a couple tanks around so we can get started when he gets back with the one. And then hopefully head up to that irrigated field.
Dude, Jesus can fit in a dollhouse.
Fit in the dollhouse? Oh, yeah.
And
boys have a
tiny too.
Yep.
It can fit in a dollhouse too.
Yep. The boys have a baseball game tomorrow night, so I might try and make it to that.
Jammies.
You got animal jammies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what else? Oh, I might try and do a live stream tomorrow, so it'll be a good day for it.
Mama's sleeping.
Mama's sleeping. Yeah. I don't know what time it'll be, either mid-afternoon or after the ball game if I decide I'm going to go back. So keep an eye out. Yep. Keep an eye out for that, and have a great night. Happy Memorial Day again, and we'll see you guys in the morning.